we are officially joined the entire 2024 Filet Crochet calendar blankets. I have joined all of my squares together using the granny shell continuous join. I have my 2 panels ready to add to the top and bottom of this blanket. I have a video for these panels if you're interested in adding them to your blanket as well. They work with a blanket that has 3 squares across the top and joined using the granny shell stitch. So I'm going to attach these 2 panels to my blanket in that same manner. I'm going to put the 2024 panel at the top of my blanket and the second panel at the bottom. So I'm going to grab my 4.5mm crochet hook, some extra yarn, and we're going to join these all together. You're going to want to start in the bottom right side of your blanket. So this is my bottom panel. Here is the bottom right side of my blanket without the panel. And we're going to join in that corner space right here. You can use any yarn to join. I am using some Caron Jumbo. I have plenty of it, so it should last me throughout this joining process. This colorway is Dalmatian. So I'm going to start with a slip stitch in that corner chain 3 space. I'm going to chain 3. And I'm going to work 2 more double crochets into that space. Chain 1, skip to my next space and work 3 double crochets. We're going to work that all the way up this side until we get to the next corner space. When you get to the next chain 3 space, you're going to work a corner. So 3 double crochets into that chain 3 space, chain 3, and 3 more double crochets into that same space, and that is your corner. Chain 1, skip to the next space in between your shells and work a shell. You're going to do this all the way across the top of your bottom panel. So I'm going to work this all along that top panel, and I will show you what to do over here. It's exactly the same method as the continuous join that we used for the main blanket. So I'll meet you at this corner after I work all across the top. I have gone all the way across this panel. You're going to work into this corner chain 3 space, half of your corner, so just 3 double crochets, chain 3, and pick up your blanket. You want to work into the bottom left part of your blanket, into that chain 3 space. So you're going to want to turn it a little bit so it's easier to work. There's my chain 3 space. I'm going to work 3 double crochets into it. We are now going to join this bottom part of our blanket to the bottom panel. So into these, the last row that I just worked, you're going to have to kind of turn all of your work so it's easier to work into. So just like we did when we were joining our squares, you're going to find the next chain space, slip stitch, find your next space on the blanket, and work 3 double crochets into it. Find your next space on the panel, slip stitch, find the next space on your blanket, 3 double crochets. So work along this bottom side in this way. You're going to work this shell join all the way across. When you get back to this corner here, we're going to work a chain 1, slip stitch, chain 1, and join up into the bottom right corner space. So I will meet you back at that corner, if I can find it, right here, and I'll show you how to join up the bottom right side of your blanket, and then you're going to work up that right side of your blanket until you get to the next panel. When you get to this corner, so here's my panel, here's where I started in that bottom right hand corner of the panel. I worked up all the way over and back, joining, and I do want to mention, when you get to the spots where you have joined the 2 squares, you're going to have the corner. I know it's probably a little bit tough to see. You're going to have the corner, corner, and then this space. You want to work your shells into those corner, what would be a chain 3 space. You're going to have a shell here and a shell in that corner. So they're kind of close together, but it will match up with what you did for the panel. When you get to the edge of your blanket, the right side edge, you're going to work 3 double crochets into that corner space, and this is just like what we did when we joined all of the squares together in this way. You're going to have that chain 3 space corner from your panel. You're going to chain 1, slip stitch into that chain 3 space, chain 1, and then 3 double crochets back into that corner space from your blanket. And now you can continue. Chain 1, find the next chain space, and work a shell into it. Chain 1, shell, chain 1, shell. You're going to work this all the way up the right side of your main blanket, your squares, that piece. You're going to work a corner when you get to the top of it, work across the top towards the left side, do the exact same thing that we did over here. So if this was your blanket and this was the panel, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to work half of a corner, so 3 double crochets in the top left chain space corner, chain 3, pick up your top panel, work into the bottom left hand corner and work 3 double crochets, and then join in the same exact way as we did for joining the bottom panel to our blanket. You're going to get to the far right side and do the same thing that we just did over here to connect those 2 ends. Work up that panel, across and down, joining as you go and it will be the same method that we used to join the squares together with this granny shell stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up joining the panels to my square portion of the blanket, and I will be right back to show you how it looks. I present to you the 2024 Filet Crochet calendar blanket, all sewn together. I started in the top left corner with January, February, March, down to April, May, June, down to July, August, September, October, November, and December. And then the very bottom panel to tie this blanket all together. I hope all of you enjoyed this project as much as I did. Thanks so much to everyone that participated, watched the videos, interacted with me on this channel. I really appreciate all of you. And until next time, everyone, happy filet crocheting.